Good afternoon and welcome inside the Covelli Sports Complex as we are live here at Farmers National Bank Field for Senior Day here at Youngstown State University as the Penguins play host to Eastern Michigan in a weekend action matchup. Anthony Romo, John Ostapowicz on the call here today. John, Eastern Michigan 6-7 overall, 3-1 in Mid-American Conference play. They've had a very good season in conference play. Youngstown State, on the other hand, 0-14, 0-4 in conference play. Still looking for their first win of the season. What better way to do that than here on Senior Day in front of your home fans for the final time?
Well, Romo, you mentioned it. It's Senior Day. This is where the magic happens for a lot of teams. You know, you talk about the emotions are running high. This is your final game at home, especially for Youngstown State. So again, anything is possible, but you got to give credit to this Eastern Michigan team as well. This is a completely different team than the Penguins are used to. Last year, this team went 2-14 overall and 1-7 in conference play. Now they double that at 6-7 and 3-1. This program is on a right course, and they have been able to right that ship relatively quickly.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting dynamic for Eastern Michigan. They're kind of running the same trajectory that Youngstown State had early in their program. Youngstown State in their first season struggled back in 2021. Then in 2022, won a share of the Mid-American Conference title. Eastern Michigan last year was their first year of competitive lacrosse. And look at them this year, second in the Mid-American Conference standings, only behind Central Michigan, who was 4-0 and defeated them 16-7 last week in their last conference matchup. Eastern Michigan, future's definitely looking bright for this program.
Well, we talk about coaching a lot, and that comes with their second-year head coach, Sarah Tisdale, being able to make a difference. 12 years overall of coaching experience and being able to bring that to a new program. And she's no stranger to being able to build programs. She's already built 3 programs already in her career, and she's done a great job for Central Michigan.
Yeah, definitely. Coach Tisdale did a really good job bringing Central Michigan to where they are as a year in, year out, one of the top teams in the Mid-American Conference. Her last year at Central Michigan, the Chippewas won the Mid-American Conference regular season title, a share of it with Youngstown State. And they ended up winning the conference tournament title as well, advancing to the NCAA tournament. Both teams out on the field. We are ready for our opening draw here of our final home broadcast of the season here at Farmers National Bank Field. Ball is up in the air. First draw is controlled by Eastern Michigan, and we are underway. John, you know, this has kind of been a talking point all season long for the opponents of Youngstown State. The Penguins have really struggled in the draw control category this year, and this is a place that Eastern Michigan has done a really good job at. They are owning the draw control comparison against their opponents by a wide margin, and that could really give them advantage here today on the road.
Yeah, Roman, you're absolutely right. It's 193 compared to 142. So, again, they've been able to win games down the stretch because they've been able to control their draw controls so well.
Abby Alderman has it for the Eagles, working behind the net. She'll pass it off over to Avery Schwab, Eastern Michigan, looking to get to 500 on the season with the win today. The first shot saved by Paige Borkowski, the freshman goalkeeper for Youngstown State. Now the Penguins will try to get it out of their own area. They do a good job of kind of evading the pressure from Eastern Michigan. Paige Borkowski, that's a name that we've raved about all season long. You know, the Penguins have this tough record so far this season, but Borkowski, freshman in goal, has done a really good job for the Penguins, kind of trying to keep them in ball games all season long. She's seen a lot of shots, and she saved her fair share of them.
Yeah, with Borkowski, when you're a freshman goalie going up against how many shots she has faced, 484 shots on the season, and that is no easy task. And she's been able to deliver really a veteran presence to this Penguins team.
First possession for the Penguins. Ava Kreutzer passes it off to Lena Cox. Just over 1.5 minutes underway here in our opening frame between the Penguins and the Eagles. Katie Grotenthaler, double team. She'll have to back out and pass it off to Kreutzer. 29 seconds on the shot clock. Kreutzer goes right over the defender, and a foul's going to be called on the Eagles. A very heavy collision down towards the cage. You got to give it up to the defender for Eastern Michigan and Sydney Lawrence. She put her body on the line for her teammate there. Unfortunately, the foul was called on her. Kreutzer very slow to get up. She's finally able to get back up to her feet.
was going to say Lawrence and Kreutzer there able to really absorb the contact. And again, we talk about the physicality, especially in the MAC, how really competitive these teams are when it comes to conference play.
So Ava Kreutzer is going to have a free position opportunity for the Penguins. 26 seconds on the shot clock. She'll drive in, shoot. Shot is high of the net. That'll go out of play. Possession will go to Eastern Michigan. Let's meet the starters today for both teams. First, for the Eagles of Eastern Michigan. Their starters go as this. Starting in goal, number 44, Maddie Porter. Then in the field, number 2, Avery Schwab. Number 5, Sydney Lawrence. As we have a drive inside. Ball goes out of the grasp of Dill. And the Penguins will get it back. For the time being, Eastern Michigan now trying to get the starters off, John. The Eagles are flying down the field. Let's say the rest of the starters. Number 11, Abby Alderman. Number 12, Amber Alderman. Number 13, Haley Hodak. Number 17, Skylar Hilmer. Number 23, Mackenzie Blackwell. Number 25, Kylie Dill, as we just mentioned. Number 30, Annika Wozni. Number 31, Lexi Smalline. And number 39, Carly Lowe. Eagles looking to get on the board first, and they will right there. Sydney Lawrence getting right up after the contact on one end. She makes it all the way to the other, and she scores our first goal of today's ball game. Nice job there by Lawrence. As we'll take another look at this replay. Just did a great job getting an opening in front of the Penguins' defense. Spun off of the defender, got a little bit of space, drove inside, and she found the back of the net. So the Eagles strike first, just under 3 full minutes underway here in our opening quarter.
And for Sydney Lawrence, that is now her 16th goal of the season. And you know how many prolific scorers are on this Eastern Michigan team. 14 different scorers have gotten in that category this season so far. So again, the versatility on the offense, that's what the Eagles do very well.
12 minutes, 5 seconds remaining in our opening quarter. Back at midfield for the draw. This one will be controlled by the Eagles and Mackenzie Blackwell. We mentioned that briefly in the open, John. Youngstown State has really struggled with draw controls this season. If you look at the comparison, they've controlled 157 draws while their opponents have controlled 266. It's over 100 more draw controls than the opponents have controlled than the Penguins.
Right, for the Penguins, they've struggled on defense as well, and we've talked about that, especially with the goalie. When your defense struggles, that relies on that one-on-one situations where your goalie has to rely heavily on that. Your defense breaks down, but over the course of the season, the Penguins have gotten a lot better in that category.
Nice job by Grace Manter, the Penguins forcing the turnover out of the stick of Kylie Dill. YSU will bring it the other way. Penguins had a really good look a few possessions ago with Ava Kreutzer, had a free position opportunity, but her shot was a little bit too high of the net. Kreutzer has it now once again. Ava Kreutzer with that tall stature, standing at 5'11", can really see the whole field for the Penguins. She's had a really good freshman season. This is a freshman-loaded team for the Penguins. Allie Garrett passes to Lena Cox behind the net. Cox trying to drive around towards the front. But great defense by Annika Wozni. Kreutzer with it, working towards the middle. She'll pull it out. 30 seconds remain on the shot clock for Youngstown State. Erin Lowry now has it. Lowry, one of the 6 seniors being honored today on Senior Day. Emma Hoffman now. Eastern Michigan's doing a great job not giving the Penguins any easy looks. They're getting in the front of the goal, but they're just getting hounded defensively by the Eagles. Under 10 seconds on the shot clock. Down to 6, the shot, and the goal off balance. Youngstown State finds the back of the net, and we are all tied up at 1. Callie Vaudry, another senior being honored today. She scores her 3rd goal of the season, and that'll tie it up 1 goal apiece.
Well, for Vaudry, you got to be feeling good about that one. Again, especially on Senior Day, being able to get that goal on a very special day. And again, just a nice play as well. The defense kind of let go towards the back of the cage, and Vaudry able to just kind of go on the right, off the hip. Great job. down the stretch.
Vaudry's first goal since way back on March 20th against Lindenwood. Nice for her to be able to get a goal like that here on her senior day with family and friends in attendance. And we are all tied up at 1, just under 5 full minutes played here in our opening quarter. Youngstown State coming off a tough loss last Saturday against Robert Morse, but this is a Penguins team that has had 8 days of rest compared to Eastern Michigan, who had a midweek game earlier this week against Xavier. Youngstown State controls the draw. Emma Hoffman will bring it down the far side of the field. Penguins looking to take their first lead of the afternoon. Second all-time meeting between these two schools. First meeting was here a year ago. Penguins came out victorious.
And in that win, Romo, it was only a two-goal difference. 17-15 was the final on that one. So again, completely different team than what the Penguins were used to last season.
Another drive inside. That one gets deflected off of the stick of Grace Run, but Youngstown State will keep it. And now Eastern Michigan will have possession as we approach 9 minutes remaining here in our opening quarter. Eastern Michigan got on the board first with a goal by Sydney Lawrence. Youngstown State answered with a goal from Callie Vaudry. Eagles now deep in Youngstown State territory. Mentioned in the open of the broadcast, 3-1 in conference play this season. Kind of night and day after they were 1-7 in Mid-American Conference play a year ago.
It just shows you what a year difference really makes for any program.
Eagles have it. Abby Alderman has it in her stick. She'll now try to drive past Jocelyn Fike. Shots a little bit to the left of the net. Possession will stay with the Eagles. 40 seconds remain on the shot clock. Nice pass inside, but the pass wasn't completed cleanly. But it'll bounce out now on the stick of Amber Alderman. We're going to have a foul called on the Penguins. That one was called on Jenna Cook. 20 seconds now remain on the shot clock. Loose ball on the turf once again. Who's going to come up with it? The Eagles playing with fire. They keep it once again. Kylie Dill has it. She passes it off on the turf again, and another foul is going to be called on the Penguins. Just 4 seconds on the shot clock, though. Alderman loses it, and Youngstown State will finally get possession back. Great defensive job by the Penguins of keeping Eastern Michigan scoreless there for that possession.
Well, for the Penguins, Kayla Stecker was in there, and she has done a great job. 25 caused turnovers on the season, and we're going to talk about it later, but how about record watch? She's really getting up there to the most caused turnovers in program history, at least in the season. She's starting to really work up in that category.
Yeah, Youngstown State, with this being their 4th season of competitive action. Cox drives inside the shot. Saved. Nice job in goal by Maddie Porter. Starting to get to kind of that part of your program where you can really start to build a record book because you've had different players coming through the program. Eastern Michigan, mentioned it's only their 2nd season. Youngstown State 4th. So as the years go on, these two programs are still going to kind of be able to build their own pedigrees. Mid-American Conference, a lot of teams in the conference are still with very new programs.
Well, you talk about, really building records. They've done a great job already.
Another goal scored right there. Sydney Lawrence, her 2nd goal of the first quarter for Eastern Michigan. Eagles reclaim the lead, and that'll take us to our first media timeout. 6:28 to go in our first quarter. Eagles 2, Penguins 1.
Thanks everyone, especially Vicky. She's been with us since the beginning and saved us enough on our insurance to help us open our 2nd location.
Auto Owners offers discounts for life, home, car, and business insurance because they think the more you protect, the more you should save. That's simple human sense.
Ask Champion Insurance of Austintown in Austintown if auto owners make sense for you.
Who are you talking to anyway?
It's a commercial. Yeah.
You hear it all the time. Why Youngstown State University? Here's why. Because when it comes to engineering, medicine, sports, business, and the skills you need to take your place in the world, we take a backseat to nobody. Because we're the kind of people who look out for each other. Because we care about you, your success, and our future. Together, we are Youngstown State University. And now you know why.
Welcome back inside the Cavelli Sports Complex here at Farmers National Bank Field, about halfway through our first quarter here on Senior Day. Youngstown State faring off with Eastern Michigan in this Mid-American Conference Sunday afternoon matchup. The Eagles on top 2-1. Sydney Lawrence has netted both goals thus far for Eastern Michigan to give them this lead. John, it's been a breakout so far for Sydney Lawrence. This is only the third time this season she scored 2 goals in a game. And this is only the 5th time this season that she has scored at least 2, as she scored 3 twice.
Well, for Sydney Lawrence, I mean, what a great pickup, especially being able to come into this program last year. University of Oregon, we've already talked about them earlier. Penguins played them earlier in the season, but she's able to come in and bring that veteran presence. She's done a great job, and you can see already today 2 goals. She's a great facilitator for this Eagles team.
All right, we have talked about the University of Oregon a lot. Youngstown State played them. 2 of Ohio State's best players, the Cleveland sisters, transferred to Ohio State from Oregon. It's become a very popular school here on our broadcast. Maybe we'll get a home and home, play them next year at home. What do you think about that? 6:07 to go in the opening quarter here between the Penguins and the Eagles. Youngstown State does have possession. YSU's lone goal so far was scored by Callie Vaudry. It's her 3rd of the season. They're going to look to knot this game up here on this possession.
For Callie Vaudry, she is really efficient, and she takes her shots very seriously. 5 shots, now 6, and 6 shots on goal as well.
Shots off the mark from Allie Garrett, and she is down on the turf, holding her midsection. Hopefully she didn't, maybe got the wind knocked out over there on that play. 5:38 to go in our opening quarter. It was a heavy collision going inside. Looks like a foul was called on Eastern Michigan. Coach Tisdale is not happy about that at all. She was looking for the offensive foul calls. We take another look right here. Coach Tisdale wanted the offensive foul, but instead we're going to have a free position chance for the Penguins, and luckily Allie Garrett was able to get back up to her feet. 5 minutes, 38 seconds remain in our opening quarter. Penguins looking to tie it up. Eastern Michigan so far, 2 goals on 4 shots. Youngstown State 1 goal on 3 shots. This is their 2nd free position opportunity of the afternoon. They came up empty on their first shot by Kreutzer. This time it'll be Garrett. Our official's gonna stop play real quick.
Romo, when you go back to that, you're really able to see where it was. You know, you could saw Tisdale on the side, kind of not sure why that happened, but again, there was contact on the Penguin, therefore it kind of forced it.
The shot from Garrett was wide of the net. Coach Harris was trying to explain to the ref that the goal was scored before the foul, but our referee did not agree with that. Youngstown State, though, still has possession. So after all that, the Penguins still have a chance to tie this game up. As they pass around the perimeter, high pass. Grotenthaler retains the possession. She drives inside. Her shots high of the net. We've seen that a lot early on from Youngstown State. Just shooting the ball too high of the cage. But another chance here. 12 seconds on the shot clock. Lena Cox forced outside. Nice pass in the middle. Grotenthaler off balance, off the mark. It'll go out of play. And Youngstown State will keep it once again. Shot clock at 60 seconds. Penguins have had a lot of opportunities on this possession. Does Eastern Michigan have another stop in them?
Got to give the defense credit. They have played very well, especially for Eastern Michigan.
We're going to have a foul called on the Eagles. The high stick. So it's going to be another free position chance for Youngstown State. 4 minutes, 36 seconds remaining in our first quarter. Anthony Romo, John Ostapwitz on the call. The shot and the goal. The Penguins are able to tie it up with 4 minutes and 32 seconds remaining in our opening quarter. So we'll take another look at this shot and goal right here for Youngstown State. It was a very long possession. Eastern Michigan had so many stops, but the Penguins were finally able to find the back of the net. Goal was scored by Jade Shear, her 8th of the season for the Penguins, for the sophomore out of Birdsboro, PA.
And for sure, she was able to capitalize on a free position opportunity. And again, the Penguins are now 24 and 57 when it comes to, or 24 and 58, excuse me, when it comes to free position opportunities. And that's more than their opponents. So they've done a great job in that category. And that's where a lot of their points and scoring has come from this season.
All tied up at 2. Draw control goes to Youngstown State. The Penguins are going to quickly rush it down the field. Looking for a quick spurt of 2 goals. Kreutzer has it. Now she'll pass it over to Jade Shear. Shear just scored the last goal for Youngstown State.
And we've seen it a lot this season where the Penguins, they play from behind a lot. They get behind early, but then they'll come back and they'll go on 3, goal runs. And
what a shot and what a goal by the Penguins that give them their first lead of the afternoon. This one warrants another look. Brooke Peck off balance, spinning, shooting, and scoring. And Youngstown State will take the lead at 3-2.
And again, for the Penguins, couldn't have scripted it any better. And again, they play from behind, and any player has that opportunity to come out and make a play. Brooke Peck was there, goal number 8 for her on the season. And again, just found that opportunity, got it on the right side, and perfectly executed by the Penguins' offensive side.
Peck has really seen an uptick in playing time as of late. She didn't start today, but did start the last game against Robert Morris, which was her first start since the season opener against Oregon. Like you mentioned, her 8th goal of the season. The Penguins take their first lead of the afternoon. Just under 4 minutes remaining in our opening quarter. Eastern Michigan looking to keep pace with Central Michigan in the Mid-American Conference standings. The Eagles' lone loss in conference play was to Central Michigan. Their last conference game last Sunday, it was a 16-7 win for the Chippewas.
Romo, we start talking about the MAC championships. The tournament is coming up here. Only 4 teams, though, have an opportunity, and today almost all the teams are in action, Robert Morris being the only one that's not. And there's playoff implications, especially with Kent State and Detroit Mercy here today. That game is at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, Youngstown State already mathematically eliminated from postseason consideration. Eagles are going to rush it down the other side of the field in the stick of Lexi Smalline. She'll pass it off.
And a win for Eastern Michigan here today would help them lock up the second seed, with Central Michigan. A win would lock up that MAC tournament, and all the teams would have to go through them for the tournament.
Nice save in the goal by Borkowski. It's a good look for the Eagles, but Borkowski was able to come down with the save. It's a good look from Kelsey Daig, but she could not get it past the stick of the freshman in the goal. Jocelyn Fike will bring it across midfield for Youngstown State, weaving in and out of the defense. Fike with Lawrence right behind her. We'll have a foul called on the Eagles. Now Fike will get rid of it. Passes it over to Jenna Cook. Over to Lena Cox for the Penguins as we approach 2 minutes remaining here in our opening quarter. Penguins looking to add on to this lead. Already on a 2-goal run. Cook driving towards the middle, pushed out by Lawrence. Sydney Lawrence, who said her name a lot early on for Eastern Michigan.
And it feels like that's going to be the case. She's been all over the place, offensively and defensively.
Cox loses it for a second, gets it back, drives in the shot and the goal. 3 consecutive goals for the Penguins. Lena Cox with her first goal of the day. That'll make it 4-2 Youngstown State with 1 minute and 40 seconds remaining here in our opening quarter.
And Romo, you can see right here, look at the defensive breakdown. There were 3 defenders there. All she had to do, you see the speed on Lena Cox. And her small frame, too, allows her to evade the defenders. A perfectly executed shot, and she got it. How about that? Goal 25 for the season for her. And there's now 3 Penguins that are in that 20-goal mark.
Lena Cox, 25th goal of the season, which leads the team, as you mentioned. Under 2 minutes remaining here in our opening quarter. Game clock and shot clock will be separated by 10 seconds for whoever controls this draw. Both teams back out of midfield. Big goal there for Lena Cox. She had 2 goals against Robert Morris. The Penguins are looking for her to heat back up here towards the tail end of the regular season. Only had 3 goals over the past 5 games after scoring 21 over the first 9. But a big first quarter goal there. And YSU's on top 4-2. Alderman has it on the near side for Eastern Michigan. Abby Alderman, sophomore out of Lusby, Maryland. She'll get rid of it. The Eagles have done a good job controlling the draws here today. Just hasn't really ended in too many goals. Only 2 thus far. Nice look inside, and the shot is saved. But Eastern Michigan will retain possession.
And a nice job by Borkowski there. You saw how quick that shot got off the stick and being able to find where that went, being able to keep on your feet. That's a great job by Borkowski.
Skylar Hiller has it. Hilmer, another sophomore on this Eastern Michigan team. Pass to Lawrence. Her shot saved by Borkowski. Bounces back out. Who's going to come up with it? And it'll be Eastern Michigan. It's kind of like that possession the Penguins had a few minutes ago. So many shots. They just cannot get the change of possession. Eastern Michigan will have another chance. Shot clock was reset so they could hold on to it and have the final shot here of our opening quarter. They find a good enough look.
Romo, you talk about Eastern Michigan, they've had a lot of opportunities where they get the ball back, and again, just a bunch of tough looks.
Foul on the Penguins. Kelsey Daig will keep the possession. There's going to be a yellow card given to the Penguins. That one will be given to Kayla Stecker, so she'll have to check out, and that's a big defensive loss for the next 2 minutes for Youngstown State. Arguably their best defender statistically.
But now for the defense for the Penguins, this is where they have to step up now. But the opportunity for Eastern Michigan, again, free position opportunities forced by that yellow card, and they could capitalize on this.
Chance here for Kelsey Daig. Daig working from the left side. She'll pass it off. 10 seconds remain in our first quarter. Looks like the Eagles are just going to back it out. That'll take us to the end of our first quarter. Youngstown State, good opening 15 minutes here on their senior day. They lead 4-2. Our second quarter action is coming up after this here on the Youngstown State Sports YouTube channel.
You ready to meet the latest addition to the family? The money you saved us with auto owners helped make it all possible. It really is the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Excuse me?
Third best thing.
Third best thing.
Auto Owners offers discounts for life, home, car, and business insurance because they think the more you protect, the more you should save. That's simple human sense.
Ask Siebert Keck Insurance in Youngstown if auto owners make sense for you.
Health. Suddenly that word seems more important these days as it's consumed all aspects of our lives and made our universes feel smaller than ever. But at Mercy Health, your health has always been our top priority, and we're staying as committed as always to personalizing the right care for you. Because whether here or from home, we believe your health care should always revolve around you. Mercy Health, primary care for the universe of you. Visit mercy.com/primary care to connect with the provider today.
You hear it all the time. Why Youngstown State University? Here's why. Because when it comes to engineering, medicine, sports, business, and the skills you need to take your place in the world, we take a backseat to nobody. Because we're the kind of people who look out for each other. Because we care about you, your success, and our future. Together, we are Youngstown State University, and now you know why.
Welcome back. Start of the second quarter, just a few seconds away here from the Cavelli Sports Complex. Anthony Remla, John Ostapwitz back on the call. Youngstown State leading Eastern Michigan 4-2 thus far. So take a look at some of our first quarter stats. It's been pretty even all the way around. Eastern Michigan's controlled one more draw than the Penguins. YSU has one more shot on goal, and the Penguins have retrieved one more ground ball than the Eagles have. You look at the scoreboard, 4-2. I think it says it all with the stats. It's been a very tight game thus far. Just the Penguins have been able to execute on a few more opportunities.
Yeah, and it's all about individual opportunities. 4 different players have gotten in the scoring column for Youngstown State and Eastern Michigan. All their goals so far are by Sydney Lawrence.
Yeah, Sydney Lawrence scored the first goal of the day, and she scored the other goal for Eastern Michigan, which gave them a 2-1 lead about halfway through our first quarter. But Youngstown State had a very hot end to the back half of the quarter, scoring the final 3 goals. But it will be Eastern Michigan possession as we begin our second period. Youngstown State's top defender, Kayla Stecker, still sitting down with a yellow card for the next minute 39. Eastern Michigan's going to try to take advantage of playing a woman up. We're going to have a foul called on Youngstown State. It's going to give Eastern Michigan a free position chance and arguably the best spot in their top goal scorer today. Sydney Lawrence working straight away from the net. Lawrence drives in, the shot and the goal. Her third of the day, tying a season high. And it is Youngstown State 4, Sydney Lawrence 3.
And again, Sydney Lawrence just capitalizing on all opportunities she is given, and that's what makes her so special for this team. And you talk about the game high, Delaware State and Kent State most recently, she's had a hat trick in those games. So one more, she's able to break that season high.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting thus far. I think we all expected Mackenzie Blackwell to be the offensive power for Eastern Michigan. She's tied for second in the conference with 45 goals this season, scored 9 in a single game against Delaware State. Youngstown State hasn't seen a goal scorer on their squad like that since Natalie Calandra-Ryan put up a stat line like that against Kent State a few seasons ago. But Lawrence is keeping the Eagles in the game thus far. And they're going to look to kind of build on that momentum and go on a run of their own.
Yeah, Roman, you talk about Blackwell, and we talk about the record. She was 3 goals shy of tying a record that stood since 2002, a 20-year-old record for most goals in a game, and she came very close to being able to tie that record up.
And you're talking national record, not just Mid-American Conference,
yes.
Not just program. You're talking a national record right there. Penguins control the draw. Kreutzer has it. Ava Kreutzer has had one big shot thus far as a free position chance, but she couldn't find the back of the net. Here come the Penguins driving in, losing the balance, was run. That'll be a turnover.
Well, Run had the right idea. You saw the spin move. Excuse me.
It's my fault.
Got me flipped up too. But with Grotenthaler, again, being able to spin and try and, get that goal in there, but again, lost your footing. And that's what's tough about pulling a maneuver such as that.
Lawrence driving inside again, has a little bit of space. Gets past the first line of defense, but she'll get rid of it. Eastern Michigan looking to possibly tie it up here on this possession. Senior day here at Youngstown State. The Eagles looking to spoil it for the Penguins as YSU is looking for their first win of the season here today. Skylar Hilmer has it, driving in. Good look. The shot saved by Borkowski. Nice job by Paige Borkowski. It works in any sport. When you go up a level of competition, the game seems very quick when you first start playing. I'd imagine the game has slowed down a little bit for Paige Borkowski. She started every single game for Youngstown State this season as a freshman. And over the last 13 games, she's been the only goalkeeper on the team. So there's been no rest when it comes to game time for Borkowski.
Yeah, Romo, and she has really cemented herself here for Youngstown State as one of the premier goalies. And now 5 saves already for her in this game. She's approaching a milestone here.
Penguins looking to extend this lead. Emma Hoffman shot. Ricochets behind the net. Penguins will keep possession. YSU on top 4-3. Nice job defensively by Eastern Michigan, pushing the Penguins away. Lena Cox has it. She scored one of the goals so far today for Youngstown State. Pass over now to Kreutzer. She's defended by Alterman. Abby Alderman, we've said her name offensively a couple times. She works on both ends. Grotenthaler driving in her shot, and she scores. Katie Grotenthaler, her first goal of the day on her third shot attempt. The Penguins get the lead back up to 2. We take another look right here. Nice stutter step by Grotenthaler. Gets past the defender in Hilmer. She finds the back of the net.
And again, the power on the stick by Grotenthaler. We've seen it a lot this season. You can see how well she elevates it, especially getting a lot of wind and power behind it. And she had that wide open opportunity, and she found it. Goal number 15 now for her on the season. But for Eastern Michigan now, the goalkeeping, we talk about freshmen really playing that role. Maddie Porter, a freshman this season, and that's no tall task to start as many games as she has. 12 games now, played in 13. She's been doing a lot, especially as a freshman.
Porter, native of Montrose, New York. A lot of players from the state of New York on both sides of this ball game here today.
And we
Youngstown State recruits heavily in the state of New York, and they force the turnover right after the draw. Penguins have it. It's in the stick of Callie Vaudry. Vaudry scored a goal so far already today. And we're going to have an offensive foul on Vaudry as she went right over the Eastern Michigan defender. That was a nice job right there by Skylar Hilmer of taking the contact. So the Eagles get it back. Good crowd on hand here today for Senior Day at Farmers National Bank Field. As we approach 11 minutes remaining in our second quarter. Hilmer has it. Said her name a lot lately. Driving in, Skylar Hilmer, shot, and she scores. Doing it on both ends of the field. Skylar Hilmer makes it a 1-goal deficit once again for Eastern Michigan. We'll take another look right here. Stutter step gets past the defender for the Penguins in Sheridan, and she finds the back of the net.
It was only a matter of time until she got on the board here. Hilmer, again, we've been saying her a lot now. Goal number 6 for her on the season. She's really been involved. And when you have players who are constantly involved on both ends, it's only a matter of time until they get on the board. Able to do that and help your team out in a close game situation.
Skylar Hilmer's been taking a little bit of a beating. We saw her hit the ground hard on that last possession. Able to force the offensive foul and then scores on the other end, her 6th of the season. That'll make it 5-4.
We saw that with Sydney Lawrence, too, when she went down in the first quarter, and she was able to get back up and go the other way. And it feels like it kind of lights a fire. It ignites, especially for any player, when you get knocked down, get up and go the other way.
Draw control possession goes to Eastern Michigan, as the Eagles will look to tie it up. Back and forth we went here in our second quarter of action. Eastern Michigan has scored 2 goals. The Penguins have scored 1. We have a foul called on Youngstown State. Possession will stay on this end. So we approach 10 minutes remaining here in our opening half. We talked about Eastern Michigan playing a midweek game earlier this week against Xavier. It was a 13-12 overtime loss. It was their first OT game in program history. We're going to have a turnover right there. That was Beam who hit the turf for Eastern Michigan. No foul was called. YSU gets the possession.
And even when they lost that, you saw Hilmer there not allowing anybody to kind of go up midfield, and she did a great job. But now, Penguins, they found a cut and got up.
Kreutzer shot. Nice save by Porter in the goal. Maddie Porter saving the point-blank opportunity from Ava Kreutzer. And Eastern Michigan dodges the bullet. We'll take another look right here. Grotenthaler leading the break. Passes it off to Ava Kreutzer right in front of the goal. But Porter, cat-like reflexes, putting her stick up in front of that one and saving it.
And what a beautiful execution as well, just reading where it was and didn't make the initial save, but how about that? Really a nice block, putting the stick up, finding where it went down and not allowing the offense to pick it up with the ground ball.
Yellow card given to Emma Hoffman of Youngstown State, so the Penguins are going to be without her for the next 2 minutes. Our last home game against Central Michigan, the Penguins had a player get a red card. That was Jenna Cook. She got 2 yellows. So they're going to look to avoid that with both Hoffman right now and Kayla Stecker, who received a yellow card a few minutes ago.
Yeah, with the red card last time around, that was the first time that we've seen that this season.
So we approach 9 minutes remaining here in the second quarter. Eastern Michigan looking to capitalize, playing a woman up. Under 50 seconds on the shot clock. Working behind the net. Youngstown State trying to cut off any open lanes. Alderman passes it back, now over to Sydney Lawrence. Passes inside, good look, the shot in the goal. Mackenzie Blackwell finally able to find the back of the net for Eastern Michigan, her first goal of the day, and we are all tied up at 5.
Well, again, another player that we've talked about, we were waiting for her opportunity to get on the board, and Blackwell, by guess who? Sydney Lawrence, the assist by that. And now Lawrence has 3 goals now, an assist, and a bunch of defensive efforts. So you got to give her credit as well. But Blackwell, 46 goals now on the season. That's not an easy feat.
That'll take us to a break. 8 minutes, 38 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Our score all tied up, 5 apiece.
You ready to meet the latest addition to the family? The money you saved us with auto owners helped make it all possible. It really is the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Excuse me?
Third best thing.
Third best thing.
Auto Owners offers discounts for life, home, car, and business insurance because they think the more you protect, the more you should save. That's simple human sense.
Ask Siebert Keck Insurance in Youngstown if auto owners make sense for you.
Health. Suddenly that word seems more important these days as it's consumed all aspects of our lives and made our universes feel smaller than ever. But at Mercy Health, your health has always been our top priority, and we're staying as committed as always to personalizing the right care for you. Because whether here or from home, we believe your health care should always revolve around you. Mercy Health, primary care for the universe of you. Visit mercy.com/primary care to connect with the provider today.
You hear it all the time. Why Youngstown State University? Here's why. Because when it comes to engineering, medicine, sports, business, and the skills you need to take your place in the world, we take a backseat to nobody. Because we're the kind of people who look out for each other. Because we care about you, your success, and our future. Together, we are Youngstown State University. And now you know why.
Welcome back. About halfway through here in our second period of action. All tied up at 5. Youngstown State and Eastern Michigan looking for a late season Mid-American Conference regular season victory. Anthony Romo, John Ostapowitz back on the call. A goal from Mackenzie Blackwell sent us to immediate timeout, her 46th of the season to tie this game up. You know, towards the end of the first quarter, we saw Youngstown State get a lot of momentum on their side. Here in the second quarter, it's been all Eastern Michigan. Penguins have led by as many as 3, but the Eagles have fought all the way back.
Yeah, with Eastern Michigan, they're able to capitalize on those woman-up really opportunities that they get. They've scored 27 goals in those, positions. That's 27-10 on the opponent's side, and they've been able to really find the weakness and run away with it. That's how they're able to score and get on the board in any crucial situation such as this.
Penguins control the draw, and we are back underway. Ava Kreutzer has it for Youngstown State. She'll pass it off to Lena Cox. Both goalkeepers have been busy thus far. Porter for the Eagles, 5 saves thus far. Borkowski for the Penguins, 5 saves as well. Lena Cox will pass it back out to Katie Grotenthaler as we approach 8 minutes remaining here in the second quarter. Grotenthaler defended by Lawrence. She'll have to get rid of it, looking for the cut in Kreutzer. We have a whistle blown and a foul called on Eastern Michigan. Youngstown State will keep possession. Grotenthaler driving in. She jumped the gun. She's going to have to come back and do that all over. Went before the whistle. Trying to get an extra foot of a head start.
Yeah.
Katie Grotenthaler, she has 1 goal so far today. Youngstown State, 5 goals from 5 different players. Grotenthaler will pass it off now. Youngstown State's going to look to reclaim the lead. Pass inside, looking for Vaudry. She hits the turf, and Eastern Michigan gets the possession. Skylar Hilmer comes up with it.
4 different defenders there as well, which kind of forced the contact.
That was a risky pass underhand to Porter right in front of the goal, but she's able to clear it. And the Eagles will come the other way.
All it takes is a turnover, and the Penguins, they would have went the other way. That was an easy goal score if they were able to get it. There was no goalie there to attend.
The pass was to the goalie. Far away from the cage. So we approach 7 minutes remaining now in the second quarter. Looking for the cutting eagle, but right place, right time was Caitlin Beam. 47 seconds on the shot clock. Overcast, cloudy, windy day here in Youngstown. Not going to get above 45 degrees. Usually you think senior day, end of the season, the weather's getting nicer. It's not nice today. Good look inside the shot, and it gets just under the stick of Borkowski. Abby Alderman finds the back of the net. Her first goal of the day, and Eastern Michigan will take the lead.
Well, you can see looking back at that opportunity by Eastern Michigan, you can see just the cut got away from the defenders. And again, just a nice throw. It looked like she initially saved it, but look at the roll in the back of the cage. She had it, but it just let it roll right in. And for the Penguins, what a tough look. But you got to give credit. Eastern Michigan, they're starting to get the assist numbers in there. Sydney Lawrence now, 3 goals, 2 assists.
Youngstown State had led 5-3 with 11:54 remaining in the second quarter. It was a goal by Katie Grotenthaler, but Eastern Michigan has scored the last 3 goals. They now lead 6-5, and the Eagles looking to take some momentum here on the road.
And they've done a great job of that a lot this season. We saw it against Xavier, where they kind of played from behind, got into that overtime situation. Unfortunately, couldn't get it done, but they have a lot of fight in this program, and we've been seeing it here.
6 minutes, 35 seconds to go in our opening half. Draws controlled by the Eagles. We mentioned at the top of the broadcast, 6 seniors being recognized here on Senior Day today at Youngstown State. We talked about Callie Vaudry earlier because she scored 1 of the goals so far today for the Penguins. The other seniors being recognized today, Alexa Byer, Jocelyn Fike, Paige Jankowski, Erin Lowry, and Grace Manser. So congratulations to them. Some of those girls were here when the program began back in 2021. Some of the pioneers of this program, you could say.
It's always a bittersweet moment when you really have to, leave this program. Really, you talk about family and the team aspect of it. Leaving such, a great place is always tough for any senior.
5:35 to go. Pass inside, deflected, getting it back, and scoring for the Eagles is Skylar Hilmer. And the lead is up to 2, and the run continues for Eastern Michigan. We'll take another look right here. Hilmer was looking for the pass inside. Youngstown State deflected it for a split second with Stecker. Hilmer gets it back, and she scores, forcing a timeout call by Youngstown State head coach Rob Harris. 5 minutes, 30 seconds to go here in the second quarter. It seemed that the Penguins are really starting to gain a lot of momentum. They've led by 2 on 2 different occasions, but Eastern Michigan showing right now why they are close to 500 on the season and why they're 3-1 in MAC play.
Yeah, for Eastern Michigan, their team is really starting to work together. We saw in the first quarter a lot of different things transpired, especially with the fouls and the different calls, but now they're able to get it going. You've been seeing Mackenzie Blackwell pick up a lot of those draw controls, and this season, on the season now, she has 70 draw controls. She's been doing a great job with that. Sydney Lawrence getting the assist numbers involved. That is where they're really able to shine. You have 72 assists now on the season. What a great job. And then when you look at the goals here, just a phenomenal job by Eastern Michigan.
4 consecutive goals for Eastern Michigan. We'll take a look at the last 3. We saw Mackenzie Blackwell, Abby Alderman got in on the scoring party, and then finally Skylar Hilmer, right place, right time, off the deflection, picks it up and finds the back of the net. 5 minutes, 37 seconds to go. 5 minutes, 30 seconds to go in our opening half. Anthony Romo, John O'Stopwitz on the call. With the stoppage in play, I wanted to talk a little bit more about the 13-12 overtime loss against Xavier for Eastern Michigan earlier this week. That was a game where they led by 2 within the last 4 minutes of regulation. Then Xavier came roaring back, scoring the game-tying goal with 13 seconds left. And then, so listen to this. So game-tying goal, 13 seconds left. Regulation ends. Lightning hits. A thunderstorm starts, and they have to move overtime inside. I've never seen that before. I've never seen a game start outdoors and end indoors.
Well, it's all about quick thinking. They were able to continue to play that game because sometimes they have weather delays. And that, you have to wait and sit around. But having a facility inside is such, really a breath of fresh air. And the same for Youngstown here. We also have our own inside facility, which would allow us to also do that. So you got to get
I don't know
credit.
if we do that, though. I don't know if we'd bring all the stuff inside. I don't know if we're ready on spot like that.
It's dedication.
It is dedication. Usually you'd think if a storm was coming, you'd start it indoors. That happened last season. The Penguins played Akron. It was about late April. There were storms impending that day, so the game got moved indoors before it even started. But yeah, talk about the dedication. Get everything set up, making sure that the turf was ready indoors at their facility. Unfortunately, Eastern Michigan was not able to come on top in that game, come out on top, but they're looking to avenge that here today.
They definitely got close, though. Again, with those conditions, taking it to overtime, that's no easy feat in its own regard.
They should have won. They were up 2 goals in the last 4 minutes. Just a late run from Xavier won it for the Musketeers. Under 5 minutes to go, Hilmer has it. She'll pass it off. 54 seconds remain on the shot clock as Eastern Michigan's going to look to continue this 4-goal spurt. Down to 44 seconds on the shot clock. Working in the far corner are the Eagles. Passed off to Amber Alderman. She'll pass it back out. In the stick of Kaleli. Now Hilmer has it. Youngstown State, good job defensively, keeping the Eagles away from the net. Can they continue that for the final 23 seconds? Hilmer backs out. We're going to have a foul called away from the ball. It's going to be called on Youngstown State. Eastern Michigan will retain possession. It's going to set up a free position chance for the Eagles and Mackenzie Blackwell. If there's anyone on a free position opportunity, John, this is probably who you want. Blackwell drives in. Shot is saved by Borkowski, but she can't get it cleanly in the stick, and Eastern Michigan will keep possession.
Yet another save for Borkowski. And again, with Blackwell, you saw the free position opportunity. But again, when you go one-on-one with the goalie who's anticipating that shot, it's tough.
Very. Under 4 minutes to go here in the second quarter. 37 seconds on the shot clock. Very long possession here for Eastern Michigan. Can they finish it off with the goal? Abby Alderman passes it behind the net. Penguins have to defend for 25 more seconds. Pass now in front. The shot and the goal. Hitting the deck is Blackwell, and they're actually going to call it off. So no goal was scored by Mackenzie Blackwell. Youngstown State gets the possession.
And again, we saw what Eastern Michigan was doing. They were trying to tire out the defense because, again, when you force them to come towards you, that allows a wide open opportunity towards the cage. But again, just kind of off balance, and that kind of sent it back. But for the Penguins, they're able to get it, kind of keep it, and go the other way.
Kreutzer has it. She'll pass it off. Penguins looking to tie this game up at 5. Brooke Peck has it. She's scored a goal so far today. Had an acrobatic goal earlier on today. Kreutzer's kept away from the net. Nice job by Abby Alderman. YSU driving inside, loose ball on the turf. And Eastern Michigan forces the turnover. Ball is scooped up by Maddie Porter. And the Eagles will bring it the other way. Porter passes it up the field. Loose ball, who's going to come up with it? Took a spin towards the Penguins. And Eastern Michigan will come up with the possession. After all that, Eastern Michigan will just get it off the whistle.
Well, Penguins, they had a right idea. They were trying to come in and scoop it up, but everybody was everywhere and trying to just grab it. But again, Penguins trying to get it.
Under 1 minute and 50 seconds remaining here in the second quarter. 7-5, Eastern Michigan on top. Driving inside is Sydney Lawrence. Her shot wide of the net, but the Eagles will retain possession.
You can see with Sydney Lawrence how well she works with the defenders. Saw 2 defenders there. She was pushing them off, trying to drive in, but again, too much power there because, again, when you're on offense, you have to anticipate that the defender is going to try up and take that away.
Nice job spinning off the defender by Kalali. Nice look inside. Her shot's high. Eastern Michigan will keep it under 1 minute remaining in our second quarter.
For Eastern Michigan, you can see they're starting to go high with their shots because, again, for Borkowski, it's tough to go up high because, again, it's trying to just get over inside the back of the cage, and that's what's been working for Eastern Michigan.
It's a really good look there for Kendall Nagel, but unfortunately for the Eagles, she could not get it past the stick of Borkowski. Shot was wide of the net. Here come the Penguins the other way. We're going to have a whistle blown, 26.3 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Timeout called by Youngstown State. It's a big chance here for Youngstown State to end the quarter. You want to have an opportunity to find the back of the net, cut this deficit in half, make it a 1-goal game. As the Penguins still in search of their first win of the season here today.
And for the Eagles, they're making it tough on the Penguins. Penguins were able to come in with their own scoring run, but again, Eastern Michigan, there's a lot of different talent on this team, and they can really put it in the hands of different scorers. They can go and make opportunities, and they've really been working very well, like a well-oiled machine. Everything's starting to click for them. And this season, they've been in games where they've had a tough start, have to really settle things down because, again, they're very young. You have 22 sophomores, which includes 5 red shirts, 15 freshmen, and 4 red shirts in that regard, and only 3 graduate students. And those are transfers. So having a very young team, at least with the Penguins, they have seniors and junior veterans, really just being able to be a part of this program. Now they have just sophomores and freshmen and a little bit of transfers who have not been with that program, but they've done a great job being able to be in-house and do a great job being able to teach, and that comes with coaching.
Yeah, Eastern Michigan, a very young team in their regard. With a 6-7 overall record, 3-1 in the MAC, you'd hope that this team will be able to stay together for the next few seasons because they can become a very dangerous squad. Just know with the world of the transfer portal in college sports, you hope that everyone can stay in for their sake because Coach Tisdale, one of the top coaches in this conference, we saw what she did at Central Michigan, and we've seen how she's built this program up in just 2 years. So the future is definitely bright for Eastern Michigan.
We've seen the upwards trajectory this season already. Makes you wonder what next season is going to be like.
So the Penguins will have possession with just 25 seconds remaining. Actually, they're going to bump it up to 29 seconds remaining here in our second quarter. YSU looking to cut this deficit in half. Lena Cox working it towards the near side. Pass back out to Grotenthaler, bounces it, but she gets past Lawrence. Pass over to Garrett right in front of the goal. The shot is off the mark. Garrett hits the turf hard, but YSU will keep it. 7 seconds remain in the quarter. Vaudry driving around. Her shot's wide. And that'll effectively take us to the end of the quarter. A huge defensive stop by Eastern Michigan. Two good looks from the Penguins that they cannot capitalize on. And that'll take us to the half. 7-5 Eastern Michigan through 30 minutes of play. We'll take a break. We'll come back and we'll take a look at this first half after this on the Penguins Sports Network.
Yeah. Nice. Beautiful. Nice job, Ella.
You hear it all the time. Why Youngstown State University? Here's why. Because when it comes to engineering, medicine, sports, business, and the skills you need to take your place in the world, we take a backseat to nobody. Because we're the kind of people who look out for each other. Because we care about you, your success, and our future. Together, we are Youngstown State University. And now you know why.
You ready to meet the latest addition to the family? The money you saved us with auto owners helped make it all possible. It really is the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Excuse me?
Third best thing.
Third best thing.
Auto Owners offers discounts for life, home, car, and business insurance because they think the more you protect, the more you should save. That's simple human sense.
Ask Gem Young Insurance in Canfield if auto owners make sense for you.
You hear it all the time. Why Youngstown State University? Here's why. Because when it comes to engineering, medicine, sports, business, and the skills you need to take your place in the world, we take a backseat to nobody. Because we're the kind of people who look out for each other. Because we care about you, your success, and our future. Together, we are Youngstown State University. And now you know why.
Health. Suddenly that word seems more important these days as it's consumed all aspects of our lives and made our universes feel smaller than ever. But at Mercy Health, your health has always been our top priority, and we're staying as committed as always to personalizing the right care for you. Because whether here or from home, we believe your health care should always revolve around you. Mercy Health, primary care for the universe of you. Visit mercy.com/primary care to connect with the provider today.
Thanks everyone, especially Vicky. She's been with us since the beginning and saved us enough on our insurance to help us open our second location.
Auto Owners offers discounts for life, home, car, and business insurance because they think the more you protect, the more you should save. That's simple human sense.
Ask the Griffith Agency in Girard if auto owners make sense for you.
Who are you talking to anyway?
It's a commercial.
30 minutes complete here on Senior Day at the Cavelli Sports Complex. Eastern Michigan trying to spoil the last home game for the Youngstown State Seniors. They lead 7-5 here at halftime. Anthony Romo-Jono stopped what's back on the call. John, early on for Eastern Michigan, it was the Sydney Lawrence show. She scored the first 3 goals for the Eagles. Penguins started to fight back a little bit, but Eastern Michigan really started to build an edge towards the latter half of the second quarter.
Yeah, and for Eastern Michigan, they've done a great job, and that has been with Sydney Lawrence. 3 goals, 2 assists. Leads the both teams in points, a game high in points. She's done a great job, especially on the season now. Comes with 12 assists and now 18 goals on the season.
Yeah, 7-5 is our scores. We take a look at some of our first half stats. The Eagles controlling the draws 8-5 through our first 30 minutes. After the end of the first quarter, Youngstown State had more shots on goal than the Eagles, but they outshot YSU in the second quarter, and a lot of their shots were right on target. 13-11, they lead shots on goal. Ground balls are even at 7 apiece. And you look at a lot of the stats, if you just looked at this game from a statistical standpoint, it would look like it's a pretty even game. Both goalies have the same number of saves. Both teams have turned it over the same number of times. It just comes down to execution with your shot selection, and Eastern Michigan has had that over Youngstown State thus far.
Well, Youngstown State on the season, they've had a lot of great opportunities, especially with shots, a lot of double-digit scoring. But again, it's about execution, and you talk about that. Everything, it seems, this season, you look at the statistics, everything is very even, especially with all the teams the Penguins played, but not being able to capitalize on those opportunities that they're given. But for Eastern Michigan, you've seen the upwards trajectory. They've taken that situation and they've ran with it. And they've done a good job, especially here today. They fought adversity so far. They were down early, they were up and they were down, but now they're really being able to find their rhythm and their groove, and you can see how well coached they are, especially with the Penguins trying to get on the board. Even the goalie is starting to set up for the Eagles.
Yeah, Matty Porter's done a great job in goal for Eastern Michigan. As we take a look at some of our first half highlights, take a look at some of our statistical leaders individually. We mentioned Sydney Lawrence leads the game so far with 3 total goals. She also has 2 assists to go along with those 3 goals. Skylar Hilmer has 2 goals for Eastern Michigan. Mackenzie Blackwell has 1. Abby Alderman has 1 for the Eagles. Now on the side for Youngstown State, 5 goals from 5 different players. Lena Cox, Katie Grotenthaler, Callie Vaudry, Brooke Peck, and Jade Shear have all found the back of the net for the Penguins. Paige Borkowski has 6 saves in goal for Youngstown State. I think when you look at the second half for Youngstown State, they had such a good 3-goal spurt in the first quarter, but they weren't able to build off of that consistency. I think that's been one of the problems all year with the Penguins, has been the inconsistency. They give up these big runs, they go on these big runs, then they give up another one. It's just been tough to kind of find that middle balance mark if you're YSU.
Right, when you talk about the defense, and you can see here on your screen really what the Penguins defense has done, and it has faltered just a little bit, and that's why Paige Borkowski has had to face almost 500 shots on the season, because again, when your defense breaks down, you've seen the one-on-one opportunities with the offense and the goalkeeper.
Mentioned Senior Day here at Youngstown State. 6 seniors being honored. They're going to look to build up in this second half and end their home game victorious. We'll have the second half of action between the Eagles and the Penguins after this.
Yep. Nice. Beautiful. Nice job, Ella.
You hear it all the time. Why Youngstown State University? Here's why. Because when it comes to engineering, medicine, sports, business, and the skills you need to take your place in the world, we take a backseat to nobody. Because we're the kind of people who look out for each other. Because we care about you, your success, and our future. Together, we are Youngstown State University. And now you know why.
You ready to meet the latest addition to the family? The money you saved us with auto owners helped make it all possible. It really is the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Excuse me?
Third best thing.
Third best thing.
Auto Owners offers discounts for life, home, car, and business insurance because they think the more you protect, the more you should save. That's simple human sense.
Ask Gem Young Insurance in Canfield if auto owners make sense for you.
You hear it all the time. Why Youngstown State University? Here's why. Because when it comes to engineering, medicine, sports, business, and the skills you need to take your place in the world, we take a backseat to nobody. Because we're the kind of people who look out for each other. Because we care about you, your success, and our future. Together, we are Youngstown State University. And now you know why.
Health. Suddenly that word seems more important these days as it's consumed all aspects of our lives and made our universes feel smaller than ever. But at Mercy Health, Your health has always been our top priority, and we're staying as committed as always to personalizing the right care for you. Because whether here or from home, we believe your health care should always revolve around you. Mercy Health, primary care for the universe of you. Visit mercy.com/primary care to connect with the provider today.
Thanks everyone, especially Vicky. She's been with us since the beginning and saved us enough on our insurance to help us open our second location.
Auto Owners offers discounts for life, home, car, and business insurance because they think the more you protect, the more you should save. That's simple human sense.
Ask the Griffith Agency in Girard if auto owners make sense for you.
Who are you talking to anyway?
It's a commercial.
Welcome back. Third quarter just about ready to begin here from Farmers National Bank Field here on the campus of Youngstown State University. Anthony Romo, John Ostapwitz back on the call. Eastern Michigan on top of Youngstown State 7-5 as both teams head back out onto the field. John, it was a very close and competitive first half. Let's hope that the second half can follow that one up.
Well, with the way both of these teams are playing, it really looks like that's going to be the script. Both teams back and forth. We've seen a lot, especially from the defensive effort, but it's all going to be about which defense steps up first.
Most definitely. I think another thing for both teams is who can kind of ride their initial wave the longest. We saw Youngstown State go on a run in the first half, which we talked about this during halftime. We saw Central Michigan go on a run of their own. Can the Eagles now build off of that first half run and that 4-goal stretch to kind of build some cushion on this lead? Or can Youngstown State kind of find some of that Farmers National Bank Field magic here in the second half? We've seen them in prior years have so many big comebacks here on their home field. Can they pull another one off here on Senior Day?
And both teams already in the first half, they had self-inflicted wounds where, they really did some things to themselves, stuff that was avoidable that, they're very veteran team, both of them, and they don't usually make these mistakes. But again, you're in the later half of the season.
Eagles with the possession. Skylar Hilmer had it. She lost her footing, slipped and hit the turf, and that's going to be a turnover. Penguins catch a break there. There's a triple team in the corner of Eagles. A lot of green and not a lot of white. Turnovers forced, and Eastern Michigan gets it back. Sydney Lawrence has it in the corner.
She has been all over the place in this contest, and you got to give her credit for doing everything to help her team.
This Eagles team led by Coach Sarah Tisdale, who is in her second year, also the second year of this program, making the jump over from Central Michigan to Eastern Michigan. They've been very lucky to have her. Eastern Michigan playing a woman up for the next 10 seconds. Youngstown State still has Jade Shears sitting down, but the Penguins force the turnover, and here they come flying down the field. Molly Sheridan has it, working right down the middle.
You can see the speed on Sheridan, how fast she got from one end to the other, and again, it's just how quick she is, and she can get something off, especially a shot with how quick she plays.
13 minutes, 29 seconds remaining. Timeout will be called on the field. With that timeout, we'd like to send across a shout out to the Sheridan family. Carolyn, Dick, and Richard Sheridan watching from Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for supporting the broadcasts this year. Youngstown State looking to get a win here in their final home game of the season. Timeout was called. We've seen the Penguins use a couple timeouts so far today. Haven't been able to execute on some goals right out of the timeouts, but they have had some good looks. Hopefully Coach Harris, for the Penguins' sake, is going to be able to draw something up here coming out of this timeout. 66 seconds on the shot clock. They're going to look to cut this deficit in half.
Right, for Rob Harris, he does a great job with being able to talk to his players, kind of settle them down, because again, it's Senior Day and there's a lot of emotions. Everything's running high, but again, it's all about settling them down and talking about that game plan that you've worked on all week to execute.
Coach Harris, and you mentioned having all week to execute this plan. Youngstown State, their last game was 8 days ago. They've been off a full week, just been itching to get back on the field. You talk about Coach Rob Harris. This is his first year at the helm of Youngstown State. Coaching has had a lot of turnover over the last few years here at YSU. This is the fourth coach in the last 3 years here for this program. Coach Harris spent the previous 9 seasons at Division II Davenport University, where he built them into a powerhouse where they won 102-45 during his time there. He's looking to build this Youngstown State program up to that stature. Hasn't been the best first year here, but there's been a lot of young players on this team, so if Youngstown State, like Eastern Michigan, can keep this young core together, hopefully both these teams will continue their rise in the MAC.
Right, and it's all about keeping really the players you have. You can see now the trajectory that they're on, and it hasn't even been the end of the season yet, and all these different players are getting involved, and you're going to talk about it now. 5 different players involved, and all of them, almost all of them, are freshmen.
As we're waiting this timeout clock to run down, both teams didn't use the full length of it, got back on the field quickly, and now we are back underway. 62 seconds remain on the shot clock for Youngstown State. 13 minutes, 20 seconds remain in the third quarter. Penguins looking to add a goal to the board. They have been scoreless for quite a while, and this was the problem they had in their last game. It's almost turning into a carbon copy of it. Youngstown State has not scored since 11:54 remaining in the second quarter. Grotenthaler will pass it off to Lena Cox. Cox trying to find her way towards the middle. She's pushed out by Lawrence. Now over to Allie Garrett. Under 30 seconds on the shot clock. Garrett's shot. She hits the turf, and a foul will be called on Eastern Michigan. Coach Tisdale not happy with the call, but Youngstown State nonetheless is going to have a free possession opportunity here for Garrett. "12 minutes, 44 seconds to go here in our third quarter. You know, I was saying how this is almost turning into a carbon copy of last game. Youngstown State made it a 7-6 game against Robert Morris last time out with 10:32 left in the third quarter before the Colonials scored the last 10 goals of the game. They score a goal right here. Allie Garrett taking advantage of the free position look. Garrett, the 6th Penguin to find the back of the net here today. Her 21st goal of the season. That'll make it 7-6.
And again, we talk about all the different players that are getting involved, and this is no different. Allie Garrett doing a great job for this team. We talk about players who trend upward. Allie Garrett is one of those players who have done a phenomenal job of being able to be that center, that piece that a lot of different people kind of gravitate towards. And she's been that veteran player. We talk about the transfers that have left Youngstown State, and they were those veteran pieces. But how about Allie Garrett? She's a veteran in her own regard.
Now we're literally lined up to be the same scenario as I was saying the last game. It was 7-6 in the third quarter against Robert Morris. The Colonials scored the final 10 goals of the game. Youngstown State, you're in that same position here the next week. How are the Penguins going to be able to kind of flip the script on that?
Especially with next week being the last game of the season. The Penguins will have to go and play Akron, a team that has only one conference win. So the Penguins, they're looking to grab some momentum because, again, you have 2 very, conference-oriented games.
A really good goal by Sydney Lawrence, just working her way out, toughing the Penguins' defense, going right through the last line, and she finds it back there. We'll take another look right here, weaving through 3 defenders, keeping the stick high, displaying a good shot, and she scores her 4th goal of the game. That's a new season high.
Yeah, and for Sydney Lawrence, 5'3", small frame. It's tough, especially when you got a lot of tall frames on the field. And for her, she makes it look easy. She's able to go in there and get that opportunity. But how about that now? A season high, 4 goals in this game. This Eastern Michigan team, they got some playmakers and some very special players.
Right after Youngstown State was able to end their goal-scoring drought, Eastern Michigan answers just 21 seconds later, and they control the draw, and they're going to look to build on this 2-goal lead. Caitlin Beam has it. She'll lose it for the time being. Loose ball on the turf. Beam will keep it for the Eagles.
You can see that when Eastern Michigan loses the ball, how quickly they're able to go back up and scoop it and kind of keep possession with them. But for the Penguins, they're having a tough time scooping up the ground balls.
Eastern Michigan 8 turnovers today. Youngstown State has 7. It's been pretty even game thus far. The only category that's not even is the score. That's all that matters at the end of the day. Nice save there by Borkowski. Her 7th of the day. Youngstown State will push it up the opposite direction. Ava Kreutzer has it. Defended by Homer. She'll pass it off. Over to Grace Rund. Now the Penguins will work it around the outside. Rund has it once again.
For the Penguins, they're trying to find a wide open lane in the defense for Eastern Michigan. Is making it tough.
Rund shot and the goal. Grace Rund working off the defender's hip. She finds the back of the net. The freshman from Rochester, New York, scores her 14th goal of the season. And it is an 8-7 ball game.
Romo, I cannot believe it. 7 different players now on the offensive side. What just a phenomenal effort for the Penguins now. Grace Rund, especially 14th goal on the season. The Penguins, they've been in these crucial situations where they've been down, and they like to play that way. That's their style of play, being able to play from behind. Because earlier this year, Rob Harris even said it himself, they like to be the underdogs. They like those situations, and they like to play from behind.
10:44 to go in the third quarter. 1 goal ball game. And Eastern Michigan will control the draw. So we've seen the Penguins score 2 quick goals here in the third quarter, but Eastern Michigan, it seems they've had an answer on every single occasion thus far. They're going to look for another one here to try to build this gap back up to 2. Eagles working on the far side of the field. Pass over to Sydney Lawrence. Already has a season high 4 goals today. She'll get rid of it. Wind still picking up here at Farmers National Bank Field. It seems like it's increased with every single quarter so far today. Lawrence loses it, and a foul's going to be called on Kayla Stecker. Home crowd doesn't agree with it. I think it was a good call by our officials. Sydney Lawrence will keep the possession for Eastern Michigan.
Romo, and I agree, that was the right call, especially with how forceful that was. And again,
Extended
if you're
with the
going,
stick.
yes, and if you extend that much, that's going to be called about 100% of the time.
Abby Alderman off the mark. Fight for the loose ball into the corner. It's going to go out of play. Possession will stay with Eastern Michigan. To the dismay of the home crowd once again.
Well, we talk about turnovers for Eastern Michigan now. They have 223 turnovers. And the same with Youngstown State. That has also been the issue with 219 turnovers on the season. That has been both teams' issues, especially in this season.
Mackenzie Blackwell's shot saved by Borkowski. Blackwell only 1 goal so far today. Don't expect that to be the end total, though. I'm sure she's going to start heating up as the second half progresses. Blackwell hasn't had too many shots. Loose ball. Youngstown State able to keep it. But a turnover. It's going to be a foul called on the Penguins. They're going to give it right back. Mia Stahl was a little bit too aggressive. YSU will give it right back up. Under 8.5 minutes to go here in our third quarter.
And how about that, Romo? We just got to take a second and really talk about it. Borkowski now, 9 saves in this game. And now she has set the Penguins single-season save record. And that was formerly set by former Penguin Savannah Clark, which is at 167. Congratulations to Borkowski.
Shot by Lawrence, gets it past the stick of Borkowski right there. And the lead goes back up to 2 for Eastern Michigan. 5th goal of the day for Sydney Lawrence. That'll take us to immediate timeout as we take a look at this replay. Lawrence under the stick of Borkowski. Eagles on top, 9-7.
Thanks everyone, especially Vicky. She's been with us since the beginning and saved us enough on our insurance to help us open our second location.
Auto Owners offers discounts for life, home, car, and business insurance because they think the more you protect, the more you should save. That's simple human sense.
Ask Champion Insurance of Austintown in Austintown if auto owners make sense for you.
Who are you talking to anyway?
It's a commercial.
Good one.
Yeah. Nice. Beautiful. Nice job, Ella.
You hear it all the time. Why Youngstown State University? Here's why. Because when it comes to engineering, medicine, sports, business, and the skills you need to take your place in the world, we take a backseat to nobody. Because we're the kind of people who look out for each other. Because we care about you, your success, and our future. Together, we are Youngstown State University. And now you know why.
Welcome back. Eastern Michigan on top, 9-7. Here with 8 minutes and 1 second remaining in our third quarter of play. Sydney Lawrence continues her outstanding day. Season high in goals was 3 coming into today. She's already at 5. And we are just 22 minutes into action so far here today. So Youngstown State's going to have to start finding a way to limit her easy looks towards the net. But you mentioned John Ray before the goal. Paige Borkowski set the new single-season saves record here at Youngstown State. So congratulations to her as a freshman to break that record. But Eastern Michigan trying to spoil that milestone here on Senior Day.
Feels like it was right on cue because as soon as I said that, you know,
we
Sydney
didn't
Lawrence
plan
went down and spoiled that.
So back at midfield for the draw. Eastern Michigan has really started to ramp it up in this category here in the second half. They're controlling draws now 13-5. Extending extra possessions. And Youngstown State's defense is really starting to have to step up here and get some stops here to get it back to their offense.
When you find a rhythm, especially on the offensive side, it's so hard for the defense of the opposition to try and find an answer for a team that's red hot. I mean, Romo, personally, how do you think the Penguins should go about trying to eliminate the offensive scoring?
I just think, you know, Youngstown State, it seems that they're extending these possessions. Eastern Michigan's missing shots, and then the Penguins are not able to get under them. Another goal for Sydney Lawrence. She is just continuing this onslaught. She's almost outscored the Penguins by herself here today as we take another look. Her 6th of the day. Where I was going with that, John, was I was saying that, you know, when the Penguins are able to kind of save some of these shots, they're turning it right back over themselves. It's hard to get saves when you're having to play against Sydney Lawrence, and she's in the zone that she's in right now. You mentioned highly recruited out of high school, transfer into the program, and she's showing why she has that talent.
Yeah, and now she has 6 goals. That is the most in a game for her in her whole entire career, and that is no easy feat. She's done a great job of being able not only to facilitate on the defensive end, get offensive scoring, but she's done a phenomenal job, especially where she's, you know, come from University of Oregon. That is no easy place to be, but to transfer out and take her talents to Eastern Michigan. That's a great job.
Yeah, and a great job by Coach Tisdale getting her into the program. 7 minutes, 16 seconds remaining here in the third quarter. Eastern Michigan on top of Youngstown State, 10-7.
Yeah, especially what they're able to do now. Now for the Penguins, we're going to try and control the draw, and that's where they've struggled a lot, being able to try and control that. But now you can see that a yellow card was kind of handed out, and it's going to be a green card.
So a green card given to Grace Rund of the Penguins. After Youngstown State led 4-2 at the end of the first quarter, Eastern Michigan has outscored them 8-3 since then. It will be a yellow card given to Grace Rund. Youngstown State's now had 3 yellow cards here today. So you talk about Eastern Michigan being able to take advantage this year when they're playing a woman up. They're woman up again right here. Let's see what the outcome is. Eagles with it, working into Penguins territory. Going to pass it behind the goal. Eagles looking to get to 500 on the season overall. Currently 6-7 coming into today. Pass over to Abby Alderman. Now Avery Schwab has it. She'll pass it back out front. Alderman has it. We're going to have a whistle blown and a free position opportunity once again for the Eagles. Abby Alderman, sophomore out of Lusby, Maryland, has a chance to make this a 4-goal lead for the Eagles. Alderman driving in. The shot deflected away. Loose ball. Eastern Michigan comes up with it. They'll keep possession. It's just been the 50-50 balls like that all day that Eastern Michigan's been able to come down with.
It's been the missed opportunities, especially for the Penguins. They had an opportunity to scoop up that ground ball and go the other way. Kind of just let it go by the wayside, and now Eastern Michigan, they have an opportunity to score again.
Another shot and a goal for the Eagles. Their hot run continues. We talked about Abby Alderman. How about Amber Alderman finding the back of the net for Eastern Michigan with just over 6 minutes remaining in our third quarter? We'll take another look right here. Give and go. Back to Alderman, and she finds the back of the net. First goal of the day for Amber Alderman. Also a sophomore out of Lusby, Maryland. And Eastern Michigan's up by 4.
Yeah, and the sister duo of Abby Alderman and Amber Alderman really just getting it done, and both of them on this team. They have had a phenomenal season here, especially this year, and being a part of this team last year. Again, just transcending their talents to a new season, and they've done a great job.
So 4-2 Eagles here in the third quarter. 11-7 overall on the scoreboard. And it's been a big struggle for Youngstown State to find the back of the net consistently. As of late, the Penguins have scored at least 10 goals just once over the past 5 games. They're currently sitting at 7 goals here with 6:09 remaining in the third quarter. They need to start combining stops with scores. And we've seen it on occasion this season. You know, we go back a few home games ago that we were able to see in person. March 17th against Kent State. It was a 16-15 loss. That was the game where the Penguins reeled off 5 consecutive goals in the fourth quarter to take a 15-14 lead. But just 2 late goals by Kent State were able to give them that victory. And the Penguins are still very hungry to get their first win of the season.
They are in a very well-deserved win. They've been in a lot of close games, and they've been in games where it's been a lot of scoring. But again, they have been in there as a very young team. And when you have a young team, first-year head coach, you're going to go through those growing pains because, again, you got to learn to go through adversity.
Most definitely. Under 6 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Mackenzie Blackwell has it in her stick for Eastern Michigan. The Eagles looking to extend this lead up to 5. Abby Alderman will pass it off. Anthony Romo, John Ostoplitz on the call here today. Here's senior day at Youngstown State. Skylar Hilmer with it. She'll pass it back. 35 seconds remain on the shot clock. Blackwell driving in. Still looking for the open teammate. I think that's this thing that we've seen with Eastern Michigan since they've taken this lead. They've started to display a lot of patience when they have it offensively, not trying to force any passes inside. Like earlier, we saw them have a couple tough turnovers close to the goal.
Well, they strive on assist numbers as well as you can see how well their passing is. If they can't find a lane, get it out and allow somebody else to make a play.
Most definitely. 2 seconds on the shot clock. The late shot off the mark. We're going to have a whistle blown and a foul called on the Penguins. It's going to be a yellow card given to Mia Stahl. So tough break there for YSU. Just 1 second remaining on the shot clock. Stahl's going to have to take a seat. Coach Harris not too happy with that call.
The Penguin faithful as well was not happy with that as well. You heard some of the jeers by the crowd, but makes you wonder initially where the foul went down at.
Eastern Michigan will call a timeout. So 4:34 to go here in the third quarter. Another yellow card given to the Penguins. That's their 4th of the day. And Eastern Michigan, again, playing a woman up. They've already capitalized a few times off of it. They have another chance here throughout the next 2 minutes of play.
Well, we talked about it a lot already, taking advantage of those woman up positions. In Eastern Michigan, they do that very well. They can take pretty much any opportunity that they're given and try and go get away with it. But you can kind of see where the foul was called, especially with the yellow card where it was given. It looks like there might have been a push on the initial drive, at least by the Penguins, because, again, the defense was trying to get Eastern Michigan to stop from the scoring advantage. And it looks like Mia Stahl was in on it on that end.
So, John, if you're Youngstown State, actually if you're Eastern Michigan here, in this timeout, up by 4 goals, you're playing a woman up, just what are some things you think Coach Tisdale's trying to tell her squad? Probably just, keep the composure and keep this momentum up.
Yeah, and especially for Eastern Michigan, you're absolutely right. And with Tisdale being such a great adjuster, being able to talk it over, you can see now that she's starting to talk it over, make sure things are where it needs to do, that game plan execution. What they really have to do now is take advantage of the sides. Mia Stahl does a great job of being able to facilitate that. Now there's really nobody there to stop that scoring from that side advantage. We've seen a lot where they know where to attack, especially when you're in a woman up position, and they've done a great job on executing that. And this really will be no different, but now the defense has to step up for the Penguins in a big way.
Talk about the upcoming schedules for both teams. Eastern Michigan will return home next Saturday, where they'll host Robert Morris and Ypsilanti for their senior day and regular season finale. Youngstown State, you mentioned a little bit ago, John, the Penguins will travel to Akron for their regular season and season finale. We mentioned the Penguins are mathematically eliminated from postseason tournament contention. So just 2 games remaining in this regular season for Youngstown State as they are still in search of their first win. So the shot clock, with that stoppage and play and yellow card being given out, has been bumped back up to 90 seconds. So YSU, 90 seconds of defense, 89 seconds, I should say. Then the foul called, and then it's bumped right back up. Here's a big chance here for Eastern Michigan to really build this advantage. 4 minutes, 34 seconds to go in our third quarter. Eastern Michigan, 11 goals on 24 shots. YSU, 7 goals on 20 shots. Eagles pass it back out in front over to Sydney Lawrence. Now Abby Alderman has it. You mentioned it, John. Just great ball movement, clean ball movement from the Eagles here during this quarter.
Yeah, and it has looked great, and that is what has allowed to a lot of assists and different passing. That's why it's so hard to eliminate scoring opportunities for a team that passes very well.
Shot clock at 50 seconds. Can the Penguins get another stop? It's going to be a good look here for Abby Alderman. She'll pass it back to her sister and then back out in front. Now over to Sydney Lawrence. Gets around the defender. Good look to Alderman. Her shot and a goal. The great ball movement finishes off another goal for Eastern Michigan. Abby Alderman doing a great job moving towards the goal without the ball. Gets a nice pass from Sydney Lawrence, who continues to rack up the points today. We take another look. Good shot from Alderman, getting it past the stick of Borkowski.
How about the assist by Sydney Lawrence? And again, she read where Alderman was going to be, and she found her right on the inside, fit that right in the cage. And again, the execution by this Eastern Michigan team has looked flawless.
Sydney Lawrence up to 9 total points today. 6 goals, 3 assists. She has simply done it all today for Eastern Michigan.
She's had a fair share of everything. She caused turnovers already, picked up ground balls, now assists, goals, everything. Really sounds like she might be in the makings of a triple-double really just all the stats that she's been able to do. And it's just like getting up into those big scoring numbers, especially in her stats category. On the season, she has that triple-double numbers of double-digit everything.
Whistle blown after the draw. And another foul is going to be given on the Penguins. So now Eastern Michigan is playing 2 women up. Green card given to Jade Shearer of Youngstown State. And if you're YSU, this is where you just have to regain your composure here.
It is. It's all about taking it easy a little bit, especially you're starting to get a little bit more fouls, especially for the Penguins. They're getting into tricky situations here.
3 minutes, 15 seconds now remaining in our third quarter. Abby Alderman just scored the last goal for Eastern Michigan. She'll pass it off behind the net. Crossfield over to Alderman from Lawrence. A shot and another goal. It just continues. Mackenzie Blackwell scores her second goal of the day for the Eagles. What a season she's had, and what a game that this Eagles team has had. Look, it's behind the head shot. No look. Still, same result.
Now you have a couple players for Eastern Michigan that is in double-digit scoring. Now that makes it 4 with Alderman, Hilmer, Blackwell, and Lawrence now in that, more than 1 goal category. And Eastern Michigan, they've done a great job of finding the holes in this Penguins defense, and they've been able to execute that. They know what the errors are. They're able to read it and figure it out, and that's with coaching. They studied the film, they looked at the issues, and they found them.
Eastern Michigan has scored 10 of the last 12 goals after YSU led 5-3 with 11:54 remaining in the second period. It's almost just like that last game for the Penguins against Robert Morris. Just seems like they've been unable to stop a second half run here. Sydney Lawrence loses her footing. Ball on the turf. Oh, and an inadvertent stick comes up and catches Jenna Cook in the face of the Penguins. No foul called. It wasn't done on purpose. Penguins will have possession though.
Romo, you can see how chippy this game is really starting to become, and there's just a lot of extracurriculars, especially back and forth. Even though it was an accident, there's just a lot of different. We saw it with the fouls, there was contact, a whole lot of everything in this game.
Eastern Michigan has controlled the draws now 17-5 here today. Penguins with possession. Under 2 minutes remaining here in our third quarter. YSU looking to end this scoring run from Eastern Michigan. Looking to build some momentum as we head towards the fourth quarter of play.
And for the Penguins, they really need something to get them involved. Whenever that happens, the momentum shifts towards the Penguins, but when they're kept silent, but now they're able to grab that.
Not silent anymore. Callie Vaudry with her second goal of the day. Season high. 2 goals here today. She had 2 goals on the season coming in. We take another look right here. Just working her way around, making herself open in front of the cage. Takes the pass from her teammate, and she finds the back of the net. 13-8 now our score here with 1:30 seconds remaining in the third quarter. We talked about it, John. Could the Penguins gain some momentum heading into the final frame? Looks like they might be able to do so right now.
Yeah, and whenever they score, especially when they're on a drought, when teams just keep putting it on them, whenever they score, they go on a run of their own, and we've seen that a lot, especially with Kent State, some other games this season as well, Robert Morris most recently, and even Binghamton. We saw that game where they were down and they were able to fight back just a little bit. But again, a lot of those goals come in just the second half.
So 13-8 is our score. Deficit back down to 5. Eastern Michigan controls the draw. They're going to look now to build this lead back up. Want to hear a stat about this quarter, John?
Go for it, Romo.
Eastern Michigan has won every single draw control 10-0 here in the third quarter.
And for the Penguins, that's been their Achilles heel, especially when they're having a tough time. Yeah, with the draw controls. When they can't get that under control, that's the issue.
So the Eagles, 48 seconds remaining here in the third quarter, driving inside, and the quick answer for Mackenzie Blackwell. We talked about it, knew she was going to heat up eventually. 2 goals here towards the end of the third quarter. She's at a hat trick now today, and she is at 48 goals this season.
And for Blackwell, she's coming off a 4-goal performance against Xavier, and now she translates that into this game now. That's 7 goals over 2 games.
A little bit of a hot streak for Mackenzie Blackwell, who's been hot all season long. You know, we talk about it at times during the season about the different weapons for Youngstown State. You talk about the different weapons for Eastern Michigan. Blackwell has 3 goals today. Lawrence has 6. Alderman has a few goals. You go back to their Xavier game. Kelsey Daig had 2 goals. She was second on the team with 2 goals against Xavier. She hasn't scored today, but that just shows we've said her name a few times. They're able to move the ball around. It's a very unselfish team.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And even if you eliminate one scorer, Eastern Michigan, they can find another one who can go out and do the same thing. And that's all about the versatility in a deep roster. Eastern Michigan, they have that.
YSU controls their first draw here of the third quarter. They're going to look for a quick answer as we head to our final 15 minutes. A shot and the goal. Off balance, quick answer for Youngstown State. Here with just 22 seconds remaining, Katie Grotenthaler falling to her backside, still able to find the back of the net. You take a look at the replay right there. All of a sudden, John, both teams are going back and forth trading goals. It's going to be an exciting final 15 minutes, that's for sure.
Yeah, for the Penguins, now they're down by 5 goals. You know, they were going back and forth a little bit. Now the same thing is going to happen. We've seen it especially in the fourth quarter. They're a fourth quarter heavy team, especially when that defense starts to show up a little bit, especially with the offense starting to get moving. And now Youngstown State, we talked about it. Once they score 1 goal, they can start to go on a scoring run.
Yeah, it's all about controlling draws and getting defensive stops. Still a very steep hill to climb with the way Eastern Michigan's played offensively. Another draw controlled by the Penguins. Grotenthaler pushes it the other direction. 14 seconds remaining. Cox driving inside, weaving behind the net. Does YSU have a good look in them here before the end of the quarter? Kreutzer loses her footing. Pass inside, the shot and the goal. Another quick one for the Penguins right before the end of the quarter. Grace Rund finds the back of the net for the second time today. And it is 14-10 here with 2 seconds remaining in the third.
And for the Penguins, it's all about learning. Once they get that first goal, they know which side they have to go on. Over the last 3 possessions for the Penguins, it has resulted in a score, and it's all been on that right side. They've found the hole, they found the weakness, and now they're able to go in and even this playing field just a little bit. That quick strike ability, and you've been seeing it too, especially with Grace Rund, where she gets her stick up very high and over. They found out that the goalie's weakness is really trying to get up high, because for any goalie, if you're going low, that's where they anticipate.
And a yellow card given to Katie Grotenthaler right before the end of the third quarter. Saying she was displaying just a little bit too much aggressiveness away from the ball. So the control will go to Eastern Michigan. They're going to have possession to begin our fourth quarter after these 2 seconds run out. Back underway. I'll just run it back, and that'll take us to the end of the third quarter. 15 minutes remain. 14-10, Eastern Michigan on top. We'll be right back with fourth quarter action after this.
You ready to meet the latest addition to the family? The money you saved us with auto owners helped make it all possible. It really is the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Excuse me?
Third best thing.
Third best thing.
Auto Owners offers discounts for life, home, car, and business insurance because they think the more you protect, the more you should save. That's simple human sense.
Ask Siebert Keck Insurance in Youngstown if auto owners make sense for you.
Health. Suddenly that word seems more important these days as it's consumed all aspects of our lives and made our universes feel smaller than ever. But at Mercy Health, your health has always been our top priority, and we're staying as committed as always to personalizing the right care for you. Because whether here or from home, we believe your health care should always revolve around you. Mercy Health, primary care for the universe of you. Visit mercy.com/primary care to connect with the provider today.
You hear it all the time. Why Youngstown State University? Here's why. Because when it comes to engineering, medicine, sports, business, and the skills you need to take your place in the world, we take a backseat to nobody. Because we're the kind of people who look out for each other. Because we care about you, your success, and our future. Together, we are Youngstown State University. And now you know why.
Welcome back. Start of the fourth quarter here at Farmers National Bank Field. 14-10. Eastern Michigan on top of Youngstown State. Anthony Romo, John Ostapowitz back on the call. Fourth quarter action just about ready to begin. What an action-packed third quarter we just had. So if we look at combined goals through our first three quarters, first quarter, 6 combined goals. YSU outscored the Eagles 4-2. Second quarter was the exact opposite. 6 goals again. Eastern Michigan outscored the Penguins 5-1. 12 combined goals in our third quarter. Eastern Michigan scored 7. Youngstown State scored 5. And that has set us up with our fourth quarter right here. Youngstown State going to be without Katie Grotenthaler, who will be out for the next 1 minute 58 seconds. She is tied for the team lead with 2 goals today. Someone else is going to have to step up.
But again, we talked about the deep roster for Eastern Michigan. How about YSU? They have their own depth, especially freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. Anybody can step up at any turn, and you're going to see it here, especially on this next possession.
Eastern Michigan will have the possession to begin the fourth quarter. They're going to look to add on to this lead. 2 quick goals from the Penguins in the last minute of the third quarter has set us up with a close game once again. Eastern Michigan led by as many as 6 towards the end of the third. Penguins still in search of their first win of the season. Grolman has it. She'll pass it back out in front. Alderman to Lawrence. We're going to have a whistle blown and a positioning foul on the Penguins. So Eastern Michigan's going to have a free position attempt here in the stick of Sydney Lawrence, who already has a career-high 6 goals here today.
She's looking to make that 7, especially taking advantage of the free position opportunities. But again, just a little bit too high, and you can see what Eastern Michigan's game plan is. Get it high, especially with Borkowski, who's only 5'2", and again, getting it high up. That's a recipe for success that Eastern Michigan has been following.
1 minute remaining on the yellow card penalty for Grotenthaler. Eastern Michigan playing a woman up. Nice look inside. Extra pass back out. Hilmer gives it up. 20 seconds on the shot clock. Nice look inside the shot by Grolman and the goal. Tracy Grolman, redshirt sophomore out of Annapolis, Maryland, finds the back of the net for her first goal of the day. And Eastern Michigan strikes first here in our fourth quarter.
And how about that bounce pass by Grolman there? You can see nice pass by Sydney Lawrence, again getting in on the assist, and she just keeps adding to her total here this afternoon. And what a great job by Lawrence and Grolman being able to get that opportunity and found the back of the cage.
13 minutes, 47 seconds remain here in our fourth quarter. Eastern Michigan on top, 15-10. Taking a look at our goal scores from today. First for the Eagles, we mentioned Sydney Lawrence has 6 goals and now 4 assists for 10 total points today. Abby Alderman has 2 goals. Skylar Hilmer has 2. Mackenzie Blackwell has 3. And then Grolman and Amber Alderman with 1 goal each for the Eagles. Youngstown State led by 3 different players with 2 goals. Katie Grotenthaler, Callie Vaudry, and Grace Rund. Then Allie Garrett, Brooke Peck, Jade Shear, and Lena Cox. Each 1 goal today for the Penguins. YSU finally back to that 10-goal mark, just seeing double digits on the scoreboard on your end. It's the first time since March 31st against Central Michigan when they scored 11 goals.
And that was the last time they were at home, was March 31st.
Yeah,
so they've
that's right.
had that stretch where they've been on the road for a little bit.
Another free position chance for the Eagles. Sydney Lawrence will have it here on the near side. 13 minutes, 22 seconds remain in regulation. Lawrence drives in, spins off the defender. The shot and the goal. Gets it past the stick of Borkowski. Another goal for Sydney Lawrence, her 7th of the day and her 11th point of the afternoon.
And Lawrence is putting on a clinic. And you can see it right here. Nice spin move off the defender, high stick, right over the goalie. And again, if you're a goalie, especially Borkowski, it is very tough to get your stick up quick enough to try and, save that opportunity. But Lawrence having herself a career day.
Eastern Michigan now tied for the second most goals they've scored in a game this season. They scored 16 against Howard on February 25th. They scored 18 against Delaware State on February 28th. That was an 18-6 victory in that ball game. That was a day that Mackenzie Blackwell netted 9 goals for the Eagles.
Yeah, what a game that was, especially against Delaware State. A lot of different players got involved in that one.
Eastern Michigan gets the possession with 13 minutes remaining. Luckily for the Penguins, Katie Grotenthaler now available to return as her yellow card is up. And the lead has blossomed just like that, right back up to 6 goals for Eastern Michigan. They have a chance to make it 7. Under 13 minutes remaining here in the ball game. Eastern Michigan looking to advance to 4-1 in conference play and 7-7 overall. And a collision from behind. Grace Manser a little too aggressive, and she's going to be given a yellow card. Another yellow card given to Youngstown State, so Eastern Michigan will be playing a woman up once again.
And we've seen that a lot, especially for the Penguins, where they've been sitting on our side of the field, especially with a lot of yellow cards that have been handed out to the Penguins.
Yeah, you mentioned Youngstown State has had a lot of those here today. That's the 6th different Penguin who's been given a yellow card.
And that's a tough look as well, especially for the Penguins. You've been having those tough situations, and you're in this situation because of those fouls and opportunities. Just a little bit too aggressive for the Penguins today.
Eagles working around the outside. Now they're working behind the net. Pass back out in front. Over to Kaleli. Youngstown State intercepts the pass, though. Looking towards the middle of the Penguins' defense. Sheridan's going to rush it down the far side of the field.
And that was a nice job by Sheridan, really to read where the pass has been going, and that's what they've been missing in this game. There's been a lot of open looks that Eastern Michigan had that hadn't really had any contested at all, and now they're able to go in and make a play on it.
Lena Cox now has it. The Penguins' leading scorer on the season. Only has 1 goal, though, today. She'll pass it off. Penguins looking to chip into this deficit. Time is really not the friend of Youngstown State. Still playing a woman down for the next 45 seconds. There's 40 seconds on the shot clock. Jenna Cook has it. Circling her way back out. Now over to Lena Cox. Penguins 0-14 on the season. 0-4 in conference play. Cox, pass behind the back. Goes to no one. That'll go out of play. And possession will go to Eastern Michigan.
And Cox had a good game plan as well. She went behind the cage, came out, rolled out to her right, and you see that spin move. She loves to do that move. Maybe a little bit more turn to the right. She could have got that back step off, maybe had an opportunity.
Eastern Michigan turns it right back over to the Penguins. And the yellow card is up, so now we are even once again on the field of play.
Now on the season, Eastern Michigan especially in this game, they've had a lot of opportunities where they've scored in that woman up opportunity. Now 31 goals scored off of a woman up opportunity. Compared to their opponents, that's only 10. Their opponents have scored 10 goals off of those opportunities because Eastern Michigan, they don't find themselves in that opportunity very often.
Nice job defensively by the Eagles. Brooke Peck was looking to have a good look inside, but she was forced back outside. The shot was saved. So now we're under 10 minutes remaining here in the fourth quarter. Clock continues to tick. Eastern Michigan can continue to just milk this clock down. Sydney Lawrence has it. We've talked about her all day long. Up to 11 total points today, 7 goals and 4 assists. Previous season high in goals was 3 coming into today, so it's been quite the afternoon. She passes it in, the shot and the goal for Skylar Hilmer. She adds on to her total today. She now has a hat trick. She's up to 3 goals.
And again, anybody can score. Just great opportunities by Eastern Michigan. You could see it right there. Just found the right opportunity. And guess who was in there again? Sydney Lawrence with the assist numbers. Just phenomenal job by her, and she has really found what has worked for her this afternoon.
That'll take us to immediate timeout. 17-10 Eastern Michigan, 9 minutes, 8 seconds remaining here in our fourth quarter.
You ready to meet the latest addition to the family? The money you saved us with auto owners helped make it all possible. It really is the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Excuse me?
Third best thing.
Third best thing.
Auto Owners offers discounts for life, home, car, and business insurance because they think the more you protect, the more you should save. That's simple human sense.
Ask Siebert Keck Insurance in Youngstown if auto owners make sense for you.
Health. Suddenly that word seems more important these days as it's consumed all aspects of our lives and made our universes feel smaller than ever. But at Mercy Health, your health has always been our top priority, and we're staying as committed as always to personalizing the right care for you. Because whether here or from home, we believe your health care should always revolve around you. Mercy Health, primary care for the universe of you. Visit mercy.com/primary care to connect with the provider today.
You hear it all the time. Why Youngstown State University? Here's why. Because when it comes to engineering, medicine, sports, business, and the skills you need to take your place in the world, we take a backseat to nobody. Because we're the kind of people who look out for each other. Because we care about you, your success, and our future. Together, we are Youngstown State University. And now you know why.
Welcome back to Farmers National Bank Field here inside the Cavelli Sports Complex on the campus of Youngstown State University. 9 minutes, 8 seconds remain in our fourth quarter of action here on Senior Day. Eastern Michigan leading Youngstown State 17-10, and goal by Skylar Hilmer. Her 8th of the season and her 3rd of the day has given the lead up to 7, and Eastern Michigan's outscoring the Penguins 3-0 here in the fourth quarter after YSU scored those 2 quick goals towards the end of the third period.
Yeah, with that assist by Sydney Lawrence to Hilmer, that marks her 5th assist in this game, which not only is a career high for her in goals, but career high for her in assists in a game.
7 goals, 5 assists. Talking about during the break, maybe if we had a 5th quarter, there'd be a chance you could get up to a double-double.
Well, she's
10
definitely
goals,
looking.
10 assists.
She's definitely looking to try and get this here in the fourth quarter. If she keeps up her trajectory, anything is possible.
8 more goals is going to be very tough for her to be part of. But hey, like you said, never know. 9 minutes, 8 seconds remaining as we're about ready to head back into play. Youngstown State going to have to score and score quickly. All starts with controlling these draws, which they're unable to do so. Skylar Hilmer, who just scored that goal, controls the draw for Eastern Michigan. They're going to push it into Penguin territory once again.
They've been really great as far as commanding their side of the field. you've been seeing a lot of different players step up and just take their time. They look poised and looking just to where they need to fit it in, and they've done a great job in that regard.
Lawrence passes it off to Hilmer. They've created a really good connection here today for the Eagles. Another shot. That one's high of the net. That was attempted by Roya Kalali. They'll keep the possession. 56 seconds on the shot clock. Hilmer has it, passes it off the defender. Now over to Kalali once again. Weaving towards the middle. Shot clock under 40 seconds now. Under 8 minutes total. Saved by Borkowski, and Youngstown State will come up with it. See the long strides of Molly Sheridan once again getting it across midfield. Youngstown State's going to really have to start going quickly if they want to mount a late comeback. Sheridan loses possession. Youngstown State unable to keep it. It's an attempt by Emma Hoffman, but she just could not keep it in her stick. It goes out of play, and that'll be a turnover.
And again, costly turnovers for the Penguins have really cost them a lot of different opportunities and possessions that they've been able to take away. It has been wiped away by simple turnovers.
As we near 7 minutes remaining now in regulation. Penguins are going to have to start scoring a goal a minute on average, and they're not going to have to be able to let up any more if they want to try to force overtime here. Skylar Hilmer with two Penguins all over her. Able to get out of the pressure, and a foul will be called. That one was called on Danny Emler of the Penguins. So Hilmer's going to have a free possession opportunity, working straight away from the net. Chance for her fourth goal of the afternoon. A goal here would tie the season high as a team. That one's off the mark. Youngstown State comes up with it. Stahl loses it, but a whistle will be blown and possession will stay with the Penguins.
Again, that was a nice break for the Penguins there, able to get it back.
Ball pushed across midfield. Kreutzer has it. Working downfield with the head of steam. Youngstown State looking to get their first goal of the quarter. Nice stutter step inside. Grace Run lost her footing, but Eastern Michigan caused that, and the Penguins will keep the possession. 6:13 to go here in the fourth quarter. Take another look right here. Nice save right there by Borkowski. Driving inside, the shot off the mark. Eastern Michigan will come up with it again, and another empty possession for Youngstown State.
Just a little bit wide by Grace Run there on the free position opportunity. And again, if you have quick and easy opportunities like that, maybe fit it in just a little bit far down to the left. That's what has worked for the Penguins on the offensive side. Why not work that just a little bit more?
Second all-time meeting between these two schools. Eastern Michigan, if they hold on, they'll tie the series up at 1. Youngstown State won the first matchup last year on April 8th. It was a 17-15 win here at Farmers National Bank Field. Under 5.5 minutes to go in regulation. 46 seconds on the shot clock. And these fouls by Youngstown State keeps bumping the shot clock back up for Eastern Michigan. The Penguins just continue to do themselves a disservice defensively right now. But I understand the aggressiveness. You're going to have to try to play aggressive to force some inopportune passes and try to force some turnovers.
The fouls, especially in lacrosse, is okay, but when you commit that many in a game, I mean, it is very hard, especially on the offense, to try and stop what Eastern Michigan is doing. They have to eliminate that and just kind of get more one-on-one. Don't do the double team, but just do the one-on-one and individual. That would allow them to really work that defense a lot more.
Under 4 minutes and 40 seconds remaining here in the fourth quarter. Eastern Michigan with 20 seconds on the shot clock. Skylar Hilmer driving inside. She loses it. Loose ball on the turf. She'll scoop it back up. Shot clock's down to 12 seconds. Can the Eagles get a good shot off? Defended by Sheridan. Hilmer's shot. It's actually a pass that was wide. 4, 3, 2, 1, and that'll be a shot clock violation for the Eagles. Youngstown State will get it back here with 4 minutes and 7 seconds remaining in regulation. And they give it right back. Yes, Eastern Michigan was able to get the possession and call the timeout. Just been one of those quarters, Coach Tisdale was able to get the timeout off. And Eastern Michigan will call in with 4 minutes and 8 seconds remaining here in regulation.
And again, the defense stepped up, especially for the Penguins. They forced that shot clock, and that's what they needed. But again, the costly turnovers, what allowed them to turn it back the other way. That has really been the story here this afternoon. You know, really not one of those days, it feels like, for the Penguins as far as trying to get the turnovers together. There's some issues that have kind of faltered with being able to kind of keep it together, cradle it just a little bit more, but the awareness really has to come into effect.
It's kind of crazy how quickly this season has flown by. We haven't had too many home games here at Youngstown State this season. They've had just 6 out of 16 total games, 6 at home, 10 on the road. So the season's kind of ended kind of quicker for us than other teams, but still, I mean, you go back to the home opener for the Penguins back on February 16th against Ohio State. Feels like it was just last week.
Yeah, but again, that's what happens when there's not really that many games in the season compared to last year. You look at the conference game, they had 8 conference games last year. Now they don't really have those numbers that they did from last year to this year. So again, that schedule really looks a lot different on paper from last year's home games to now for all teams.
Taking a look at the Mid-American Conference standings coming into today, Central Michigan undefeated at 4-0. Eastern Michigan 1 game back at 3-1. And it's really a cluster under them. Robert Morris 3-2, Kent State 2-2, Detroit Mercy 2-3. They're still fighting for that final spot. Only 4 teams go to the Mid-American Conference postseason tournament. This will be the first time that Youngstown State will not advance. Of course, they were tied for a share of the conference title 2 years ago, and they were the last team to get in last season. So next season, Coach Harrison Bunch definitely going to look to try to get back to that territory, try to build up some wins for this Youngstown State program.
And Romo, with the final of Central Michigan versus Akron, Central Michigan now clinches a share of the MAC regular season title with a 11-7 victory over Akron.
So congratulations to them. Former school of Coach Sarah Tisdale. She'll probably see them in the postseason tournament. 3.5 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter.
Right, and we talk about the postseason especially. Only 4 teams can be in that MAC tournament, which will be played on May 2nd, the first round there, and May 4th is that championship round. So all these teams are really fighting now that Central Michigan has locked up that #1 spot. Eastern Michigan and Robert Morris are fighting for that second one, respectively.
Nice job by Jenna Cook scooping up the loose ball, and Youngstown State's going to take it the other direction as we are now under 3 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Whistle blown. And timeout's called on the field with 2 minutes and 54 seconds remaining here in regulation. As we take a look at some of the stats here from today's contest, the draw controls have been all Eastern Michigan here in the second half. 22-7 overall. They have 10 more shots on goal than the Penguins. But Youngstown State has scooped up 5 more ground balls than Eastern Michigan. It's all just come down to executing your opportunities. Eastern Michigan, 35 shots, 28 on goal. Youngstown State, 26 shots, 18 of them have been on goal. And the Eagles done a great job minimalizing the attacks from Youngstown State here in the fourth quarter. The Penguins are still scoreless.
Yeah, and when you talk about the draw controls, 22 compared to 7, that's a big stat number, especially not being able to, win those draw controls, and that allows you to your scoring opportunities, and you're not getting that. And for the Penguins, that have really been their Achilles heel this season, is not being able to really capitalize on those draw controls in Eastern Michigan. Winning that number 22-7, they've done a great job of being able to capitalize on those opportunities.
Yeah, most definitely. As Eastern Michigan quickly coming out of the timeout, Youngstown State still talking out for 45 seconds remaining in this timeout. Penguins will break the huddle. Mentioned Senior Day next weekend for Eastern Michigan when they play host to Robert Morris in Ypsilanti, Michigan. Youngstown State will be on the road for their season finale at Akron. Next week, you just mentioned Central Michigan just defeated Akron here today. So battle in Northeast Ohio. Next week, Penguins against the Zips.
Again, only about 45-minute difference to Akron, really not that far. So again, all the teams in the MAC, we talked about how close they are to one another.
Both teams back out onto the field. Youngstown State looking to snap this scoreless drought here in the fourth quarter. Back underway, just under 3 minutes. Jenna Cook has possession for the Penguins. She dishes it off behind the net. Now pass to Emma Hoffman in the middle. Eastern Michigan is pushing her out. Sydney Lawrence doing a good job of heading that defensive line. Now Cook has it. 57 seconds on the shot clock. Youngstown State looking for their first goal of the fourth quarter. Kreutzer cradles it, passes it off. Good ball movement by the Penguins. Cox weaves in and out of the defenders. A shot by Cook and the goal. Jenna Cook finds the back of the net. Cool, calm, collected possession there for Youngstown State. That's their 11th goal of the afternoon and the first of the day for Jenna Cook.
How about it now? 8 players now for the Penguins have gotten in that scoring column. And again, we talk about the versatility of Eastern Michigan. How about the Penguins? 8 different players now getting on the board for them, and they have done a great job of being able to get one-on-one. It's a lot of them have been on those fast break opportunities. But how about this? Lena Cox being able to get in that assist category. Great job of reading the field. They've had issues with the assist numbers this season. Now they've been able to right that ship just a little bit more.
Cook with her first goal of the day and her 12th of the season. Still a steep hill to climb for Youngstown State. Need to score 6 goals in the next 2 minutes and 14 seconds. All starts here at midfield trying to control this draw. Back underway. Eastern Michigan comes down with it for a moment. The foul is going to be called on the Penguins, though, to give possession to the Eagles.
And the Eagles now, you can see what they're doing. They're going to try and just keep it away from the Penguins. Start with clock management. They can salt this game away if they keep it kind of passive back and not allow any turnovers or any costly mistake. They can try and salt this away relatively quickly.
I mentioned it's been a cloudy day here today at Farmers National Bank Field. Just happy we haven't had any rain. Been lucky. It's been raining so much lately. Luckily, it's dry surface for the teams to play on here today.
And they're not calling for rain until Tuesday, Wednesday in Youngstown, so relatively dry for the next 2 days.
No rain until Tuesday and Wednesday when you have to call softball, John.
Right here back in the Cavelli Sports Complex.
Another goal for the Eagles with just over 1 minute remaining in regulation. As soon as Youngstown State gets a goal, the Eagles make it a 7-goal lead once again. Who else but Sydney Lawrence finding the back of the net, her 8th goal of the day. She's just one off tying an individual season high for the team when Mackenzie Blackwell had 9 earlier this season.
Well, we were just talking about Blackwell's record-setting, season already, but Lawrence, she's starting to inch closer to that record. We talked about how long that record has stood in the NCAA for 22 years, and Blackwell has gotten close to it. Now Sydney Lawrence is going to try and take a jab at it.
Lead back up to 7. 1 minute, 12 seconds remaining in regulation. Already set a new season high in conference this season for points in the game. Previous Season high was Jackie Wolford of Kent State. She had 10 points against Akron. So look at this, 13 total points today for Sydney Lawrence. That's a new conference high. As we're under 1 minute remaining here in regulation, Eastern Michigan has possession.
And the game plan for Youngstown State was really to eliminate the scoring opportunities for Blackwell. But they forgot about Lawrence, who does the same thing and does a great job at it. Doesn't matter what game plan you have, having a deep bench allows anybody to step up and have these kind of historic numbers.
15 goals on the season for Lawrence coming in today. She's almost had half of that just in one ball game. Under 20 seconds remaining now in regulation. Foul called on the Penguins. The clock is just running, under 10 seconds now remaining. Now under 5. 1 second left. And that'll do it. Eastern Michigan back to 500 on the season. They're your winners today by a score of 18-11 over Youngstown State. Eagles now 7-7 overall, 4-1 in conference play. Youngstown State will fall to 0-15 overall and 0-5 in Mid-American Conference play. That'll do it for us here this season at Farmers National Bank Field. John, it'll be your show next year. This is it for me. Final lacrosse game that I'll be calling here at Youngstown State University. It's been a pleasure. Last 4 years, got to call the first season of Youngstown State Women's Lacrosse. But I'm passing over the reins to my partner next year. Eastern Michigan, your winners today, 18-11. That'll do it. Both teams with their regular season finales coming up next week.